Today I'm going to share with you how I got my first 1 million YouTube viewers by accident. In case you're new here, I'm Valante and this is the Sanctuary Academy. Feel free to subscribe, join the channel, tap the bell. For those of you who tune in weekly, thank you for your continued support. So, my story. I started my YouTube channel actually a long time ago. And at that time, I was working in media and I wrote a column. So I would use YouTube as a place to put my interviews, celebrity interviews, and I would link those to my column. And I thought that that would grow my YouTube channel. And that's a common mistake that a lot of people make. We try to build not just YouTube, but we try to build our brands in general by connecting to a big name or to a famous name. When you do that, what you're actually doing is building their followers, not yours. And so people may tune in and watch because they're looking for that specific celebrity, but they don't really become your fans or your audience. So that's what I was doing. I wasn't really getting any traction. And the funny thing is, I wrote for a publication, so I was actually one of the top columnists. I was in the #1 spot most of the time that I wrote that column, and no one was clicking through to my YouTube videos. They would watch, they would read the article, look at the video, look at the photos, and not really click through to the video. So I kind of let it lie there and I didn't do too much, which brings me to the first step of how I got my first million viewers. The first step is expertise. I think that's the most important thing because when I started to see traction was when I started making videos about the one thing that I had been doing since I was 12 years old, the one thing I had studied consistently, the one thing that I knew better than I knew anything else. And it was so simple. It was Sunday school. I'm a Sunday school baby. I'm a Sunday school brat. My mom was a Sunday school teacher. I grew up teaching Sunday school and I started talking about what I knew best. I've been studying the Bible since I was big enough to read. So putting together those videos, of course, I had to study and I had to work and I had to do the production piece, but the content was second nature for me. It was content that I knew like the back of my hand. So it wasn't difficult for me to put those videos together. And that's what I would say. Sometimes when we're trying to build a following or build an audience, we try to do what's trending. We try to do what's popular. Again, we try to align ourselves with popular people. That doesn't really work because people watch you and they're drawn to you when they see you as an expert, when they think that you know what you're talking about. There's a certain level of confidence that you can only portray if you really know your subject matter. And again, I say that I did this by accident because I did. I got to a point where I just wanted to teach. And I honestly thought that I would probably get maybe 25 to 50 people a week watching my videos. And that's all I wanted. My goal at that point was not to build a channel. I just wanted to share my expertise with what I thought would be a handful of people who were interested. So the first thing that I would say was the biggest thing is expertise. And I'm a person, I've said this before. If you're going to do something, you can do whatever you want. You can talk about whatever you want. You can make videos about whatever you want. All I request or require is that you know what you're doing and you know what you're talking about. You never want to give misinformation. You never want to destroy your credibility. Expertise is so critical. Your audience needs to trust you. Your audience needs to believe what you say, and that comes with expertise. The second thing, which I think was a factor in me getting to that million by accident, was passion. This is something that I absolutely love. I love to do it. It's something that I would do for free. It's something that I've done for years. And that is another critical thing. There's a saying that says, do it for the gram. You know, people do things specifically to get attention. Even in media, you know, they'll report stories specifically to get ratings. And that doesn't always work because you have to consider that on YouTube, there's so much content out there. So if you're just trying to do what you think is popular, what everybody else is doing, then what sets you apart? Your passion is what sets you apart. One of my favorite quotes by Steve Jobs is that the only way to really do good work is to love what you do. And I live by that. The love and the passion that comes across in your videos is what makes your audience love you. It's what makes them tap that bell and get that notification. And literally at this point, when I upload a video, there's almost 100 people to view it within the first few minutes. It's almost as if there are people sitting there, and when they get a notification that I uploaded a video, they watch it immediately. That kind of love is two-way. People wouldn't appreciate my content that much if I didn't really love what I do. So that passion, and again, these are things that, yeah, they apply to YouTube, but they apply to anything. And sometimes we are so focused on money, on popularity, on fame, and on numbers until we don't look at our heart. What's in your heart? People, what comes from the heart, what flows from the heart, touches the heart. And when people can feel your heart in your videos, man, you get the most loyal audience when you do that. When I don't post, I will get messages, I will get emails. When are you going to post? And that's the way that it should be. It's that passion. People feel that. And so when you're considering building YouTube content, yeah, there is something to be said for what's marketable, but follow your heart because in your passion, your passion, your purpose, all of those things, that is what was given to you to share with the world. That's what the world needs from you, and that is what you want to deliver. So passion would definitely be the second thing. The third thing is consistency. And again, I have to keep saying this. These are things that apply to everything. Consistency, and consistency kind of bounces off of expertise and passion. Because when you know your content and when you love your content, it's really easy to be consistent. Because there are times, you know, as they say, life happens. And there were times when I was sick. There were times when I had personal problems. There were times when I had financial issues. And I was still able to remain consistent because I knew what I was talking about and because I love what I do. So it's easier to be consistent when you're doing something that is not a stretch outside of your scope of knowledge, right? And then when you're also doing something that is enjoyable to you. And I say this all the time, I call my channel the Sanctuary Academy, and coming into the studio and presenting and recording is an experience that feels like being in a sanctuary. This is my happy place. I love coming here and not so much being in front of the camera as it is just sharing and anticipating the positive feedback. Yes, there's negative feedback as well, but it's nothing compared to the love and appreciation. And when you can feel appreciation for something that you love to do, man, that's life's sweet spot. It doesn't get much better than that. And that's where the consistency comes from. And for me, I naturally kind of, all of my videos, I will post them at the same time. And I would naturally just have them all around the same length. They would be between 7 minutes, maybe 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes max. So my videos were consistent in terms of content and quality. And that's important as well. You know, one thing about your video can't be super perfect one time and then it's just thrown together the next time. I try to maintain a consistent level of quality all the time. I was consistent in when I posted, and I was also consistent in the length of my videos. And that I say by accident because naturally, one of my character traits is to be consistent. I plan things and I make sure that everything is in order. I like order and I like organization. And what I find is your audience wants what they want when they want it. You never want your audience to be looking for you or looking for your content and can't find it. You always want to meet their expectation. And when you're consistent, it sets a realistic expectation for your audience. They have an idea of when I should be posting. They have an idea of how long my videos should be. They have an idea of the kind of content that I'm going to be posting. So this is actually the first video of this time of this kind that I've posted on my channel. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. You know, some of my viewers may not watch this one and I may gain new viewers, but I felt like it was important to share information because there are some people out there who are trying to build a channel and they're just struggling. There's tons of content out there about numbers, matrices, best practices, and the technical aspect of it. But these are four principles that I'm going to share with you today. I'm on the third one, which is consistency, which worked for me. And I say by accident because I wasn't trying to grow my channel. And I think that that's something that really got my attention because I looked up and the channel started growing and people were asking me, how did you do it? And I kept saying, I don't know. And so that's when I started to work backwards and look at what I did and what things really worked. And again, it was that expertise. You know, I was able to do this. And even with producing content, expertise goes with consistency because by me knowing my content so well, it wasn't difficult for me to prepare videos as opposed to if I was not an expert in my subject matter area, then it would require more research because now I'm trying to present something that's foreign to me. So by me being an expert, it allowed me to be consistent because this was stuff that I had taught. Most of these lessons I've taught, you know, I've been teaching for the past 30 years. So a lot of this stuff I've taught before, and it's just a matter of me studying and putting a different spin on it or looking at the lesson that is being extracted from this specific passage of scripture. So the key to that consistency is always going to be being an expert. And again, that passion, because I loved it so much, it wasn't difficult for me to do it. I can remember many years ago, I worked for the Chicago Police Department, which was not a good fit for me. That just, it was good money, it was good benefits, and I told myself that I was going to work there and I would retire from there with good benefits, but that didn't happen. I can remember I worked the midnight shift and I can remember getting up, literally crying. I would wake up at night to go to work at night and I would lie in the bed and just cry because I had to get up and go to that job. And I ultimately ended up leaving that job. And now I get to do what I absolutely love for a living. I get to impact people. I get to share information like I'm sharing now that can help somebody else live their dreams as well. So you want to be consistent. And then the final thing that I'm going to talk about, which helped me get to that first million, is engagement. At the beginning, I literally responded to every single comment. And it wasn't just a thank you or a heart or a thumbs up. Nope. I read each comment and actually responded to each person specifically. And what that did was it built a relationship. It let people know that they were valuable and it made them feel like them watching was important to me, which it is. And it made a difference. And so now, and this first million came just in under a year and a half. And even now, there's people, you know, I see the same people commenting consistently. People are sending donations. People are joining the channel because of that engagement. And at this point, sometimes I don't get to every single comment anymore, but sometimes I'll skim the comments and I'll address them in the video. I'm doing more live streams, and that's something again with engagement. That's a little bit out of my comfort zone. Again, I like to plan everything, so live streams are a little bit more impromptu, but I'm getting better at that. And I like the live streams though because now instead of going back responding to comments, I'm actually talking to people in real time, and we're having that engagement. We're having that communication. And if I see a comment or a post, I can actually address it in the video and other people. And so that engagement is so important. And even YouTube, the way that YouTube algorithms work, most people don't know that 70% of your YouTube views come from YouTube recommendations. So that means that when people are on YouTube just watching or binge watching, which a lot of us do, then your video is showing up on the side and people are clicking on your video. Have you ever been watching a video and you see another video pop up and you click it? And so that's what happens. And so when you have that engagement and when YouTube sees that growth, the more people they put you in front of, when they see that people are liking your content and that they are liking you, they see the quality, a consistent quality, those things all stand out and you just start to grow. And again, it was purely by accident. At no time when I started this did I ever consider that I would be a YouTube content creator full time, which is where I am now. The channel has grown to a point where I've opened up different opportunities. Once you go and create in YouTube, you get different levels, different tiers, different things, different ways to earn income. You have more flexibility in the things that you can do. So what this has done for me is opened up opportunities for speaking, for facilitating. I can now do classes online. I can do the live streams. I can do webinars through YouTube and all of these things. And that is why I wanted to share this, because of the pandemic, I'm noticing that there are more and more people interested in working in the YouTube space. And while there are tons of tutorials on the fundamentals of how to use it, these are 4 areas that worked for me when I was not actively trying to build a channel. This is what attracted my audience to me. And on the back end, you can look at the analytics and you can see who's watching. You can see when they're watching. So those 4 things happen for me by accident. Again, the expertise was the first thing, the most critical thing, and then it was the passion, and then it was the consistency, and then it was the engagement. And so when those things worked for me and started to build my audience, I was able to go in the back end and see who my audience was. And then I started to think about more content that I thought that they would like, which is why I'm stepping out into these kinds of videos, because just from dialogue with my audience, people who have opted in to my mailing list, people who have, done the text by phone information for me, people who have downloaded my ebooks, those people, that data from those people is letting me know, okay, why don't you try this? So if you're out there and you're trying to build out your YouTube channel and you're overwhelmed by all of the information, this is a good place to start. Just really start from within and build it and give it your best and see where if you can pick up any traction that way. And I do YouTube trainings. I've done a lot of them for different organizations, but I have not put any on my YouTube channel, which I don't know why. I'm going to start doing that. So you want to subscribe, tap the bell. You also want to join. There are 3 membership levels to this channel. At the middle membership, which I think is the scholar level, that is where I share a lot of the ins and outs about how I did things or how to do things, because I do teach and train. So you'll get a lot of this kind of content that will give you tips on what to do, not just with YouTube, but just in general. Because what I've come to realize that YouTube success is really the same, in order to get the success is really the same principles as anything else. Being consistent, being an expert, having passion, engagement, those are all fundamental life skills. And so I gave you those 4 top level things. And I'm going to go in depth through different series of teaching about how to really go deeply within. Last year, I did an entire year, every year for a month, every month for an entire year. I did the boardroom boot camp for business women, where I just taught things about finding your purpose and working in your passion and all of those things I taught in. So I was looking at that. I'm pulling out the curriculum from that, and I'm going to convert those into videos so that I can share that with you, because, like I said, the name of my company is the By Design Network, and my goal is to encourage people to live life by design, to live. I believe that everyone is a unique designer original created by God. And so my life's goal is to encourage everybody to be that person who God created you to be. And so that's how I got my first million people by accident. And I put that by accident there because so many people, oh my goodness, they're pushing and they're striving and they're hustling and they're grinding, and you hear all these words and everybody is so stressed out trying to get to the next level and even undercutting each other. That is not necessary. If you go within and you use what you have. My dad has a saying that says, you use what you got to make what you want. You have enough, you are enough. You can be whatever you want to be. So this is how I got my first million views, and that's so significant because that first million views was a launching pad for me. It opened the doors to training opportunities, to speaking engagement, even to more opportunities with YouTube and with Google itself. So step out there, take that step. And if you're not a YouTube content creator, again, apply those four things: expertise, consistency, passion. I did it in out of order: expertise, passion, consistency, and engagement. And that engagement piece is just being real, just being honest, just being open and receptive to the people who are interested in you. You never know who has the key to your blessing. You never know who God is going to use. So follow that model. Don't be afraid of the gift that you have. Stir up that gift and make it happen for you.